Hi everyone, yours and mine and everyone else, Carolina Panthers season has officially ended today. The nightmare for the Carolina Panthers is over. And ladies and gentlemen, December 29, 2019, and I'm Shaquet Bartal. So, Carolina Panthers, ladies and gentlemen, lost another game. Another game, and another game. So many another games that the Carolina Panthers lost. Panthers finished the season with a record of 5-11. And that, my friend, is not good enough. Nowhere, no how did I anticipate coming to the season, going to training camp, seeing what the Panthers did at free agency in the draft. That the Carolina Panthers would finish the season 5-11? If one of you would have told me, Shaqued, the Panthers would have finished the season 5-11, I would have told you it's not going to happen. Not a chance. No way in the world that the Carolina Panthers will finish 5-11 unless they suffer injuries, which they did. Which is part of the reason why the Panthers finish 5-11. But let's not give this team an excuse. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I believe no matter who is playing for you, whether it's your starters or your reserve, you have to give it all you got. And unfortunately, too many times this season, players who had opportunity did not take advantage of it. The defense for the Carolina Panthers was horrendous. No question about it. Even when they had Dantari Poe was healthy up until the New Orleans Saints first meeting when he suffered season-ending injury. Up to that point, he played. The defense was still really bad against the run. Now some of you might say, oh, Shaquet, the Panthers lost K1 short week 2 against Tampa Bay. Season ending, shoulder injury. The Panthers, that is why they struggle miserably against the run. But that is a bunch of baloney, if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look at the consideration. The following week, against the Cardinals, the Panthers defense did a pretty good job against the run. The following week after that, against the Texans, they did even a better job against the run. And I can go on. The Jacksonville game, they did a good job stopping the run. So, some might say, oh, the Panthers played bad teams. Not to be the case. The Texans have made the playoff. The Cardinals have won more games than the Panthers did. The Jaguars won more games than the Carolina Panthers did. So, it's not about playing bad teams or good teams. It's more about having a sense of urgency. At the time that the Panthers faced the Cardinals, they were 0-2. Ron Rivera, the former coach of the Carolina Panthers, probably thought at the time, listen, if my team dropped to 0-3, I'm probably getting fired the next day. So they won. They played hard against the Cardinals, against the Texans, against the Jaguars, against Tampa Bay, at London, against Jacksonville, at home. They played tough. They played tough against Tennessee, their last game that they won. Prior to that, they lost at Lambeau Field in a tough one, a close one that they should have won. And then, after the Tennessee Titans game, the light switch went off. And again, I don't like to use excuse, but something definitely didn't click with this team. Effort-wise, it was really bad. Really, really bad, ladies and gentlemen. The defense played a huge part as to why the Carolina Panthers only won 5 games this season. Sure, they had a lot of sacks, but quarterback sacks doesn't tell the entire picture. Because the Panthers, against the run, anyone could have run on them. Even, I'm willing to bet with you, an 85-year-old gentleman in a wheelchair, in a model wheelchair, could have run on the Carolina Panthers defense. That, my friend, is how bad the Carolina Panthers run defense was. I wish I would be joking, but I'm not. The defense was really bad against the run. Guys didn't play out. Again, you can blame injury, but to some degree, effort is the reason why the Panthers struggle against the run. But that, my friend, is not the whole story. Offensive line was really bad. Just as bad as the run defense. Of course, typically, offensive line players, you don't mention their names unless they commit a silly penalty. You typically don't mention their names. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, the Carolina Panthers offensive line was pretty bad. Sure, they had injuries, a tackle with Dennis Daly, the rookie 6th rounder out of South Carolina, Greg Little, the other rookie, suffered concussion and other sort of injuries out of Mississippi State. They got a decent play overall from Tyler Moton and Greg Van Olten before he suffered season-ending shoulder injury against the against the New Orleans Saints. But outside of that, the offensive line was really bad. Darrell Williams, he collected nearly $7 million. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, he got a great deal for himself, not for the Carolina Panthers. We all remember, or let's rewind. Week 2 against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the final game that Cam Newton played this season. The final game that the Carolina Panthers starting quarterback Cam Newton played this season. Cam Newton's got sacked 7 times. At least 4 of the sacks came as a result of Darrell Williams not protecting Cam Newton against Shaquille Barrett. That was embarrassing night for the Carolina Panthers on primetime football at Bank of America Stadium. Cam Newton got destroyed on that game. Who is to blame? Darrell Williams. Guess what? Darrell Williams got still $7 million. Free money for not doing his job. That, my friend, is a great job. Please sign me up. I don't mind. I will protect. I will play offensive line. I will get $7 million. I will do as bad of a job as Darrell Williams, but I will get my $7 million. Free, easy job. Piece of cake, right? The centers that they signed from Denver in off-season, Matt Paradis, he wasn't good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he was the worst center in the NFL. He's not. But he didn't live up to his contract. Maybe some might say he's coming off a neck injury, so give him until next season and he should be much better. Only time will tell. But he wasn't great. He was okay. So Williams' offensive line was bad. Paradis was okay. Van Olten was pretty good. Tyler Moton was decent. Wasn't bad. Greg Little, Dennis Daly, they were alright. For rookies, they were alright. I suspect that they will get better next season, but this season, just alright. As far as the wide receiver core, DJ Moore had an outstanding season, no question about it, especially in the second half of the season. Curtis Samuel also took a step forward, which is great to see. Jarvis, the price, is not always right, wasn't right with his play this season. At times, he made good catches, at other times, it was pretty average, to say the least. Greg Olson, which, as I'm recording this video, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday night, December 29, without having any sort of inside source or anything like that, but just basing it off the Carolina Panthers Twitter and Instagram account, stating thank you Greg and so on, so other stuff. I suspect that Greg Olson is going to be retiring. Probably tomorrow or next week sometime. Maybe Tuesday or in early January. And honestly, I don't blame him whatsoever. He had a great career. He made a lot of money. Unfortunately, he suffered a concussion a couple of weeks ago against the Redskins at home, Washington Redskins. He has a great future in broadcasting, no doubt about it. If I'm Greg Olson, I walk away for my own health, to be with my family, to have a great career in broadcasting. And I'm saying that as a Panthers fan. But that is what I would have done and would have do if I was in Greg Olson's position. And this is as much fun as it is playing football. So Greg Olson had an up and down type of a season. Not his typical pro bowler type of a year, but he didn't have a bad year. Just okay, as they like to say in AT&T commercial. Just okay. Ian Thomas, unfortunately, we didn't see much playing from Ian Thomas. At times, he looked okay. At other times, not really. We need to see much more of him next season to be able to tell and determine whether Ian Thomas is the future tight end, starting tight end for the Carolina Panthers or not. And Christian McCaffrey, what can I say? I had a song, ladies and gentlemen, following the game, the road game at London against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where I stated, your defense is terrified of Christian McCaffrey. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm sure everyone remembers that song. I had a great time singing that song, ladies and gentlemen. And I encourage everyone to search on Twitter and on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, your defense is terrified of Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had a great season. He broke Carolina Panthers couple of records, one of them all-time receiving record and running record for running back. Congratulations, Christian McCaffrey. Both receiving and running. He finished the year with well over 1,000 yards. Congratulations, Run CMC. So Christian McCaffrey was the biggest bright spot for the Carolina Panthers on offense. No question about it. And the Panthers made the playoff. Christian McCaffrey would have probably been a serious candidate for NFL MVP. Unfortunately, when you only finish the season at 5-11, you're not going to be considered for MVP. But Christian McCaffrey, we all know what kind of season he had. He had an outstanding season, no question about it. MVP type of a season, but due to the record, you will not get a lot of vote for that. Rightly or wrongly, it is what it is. Now, Kyle Allen, Will Greer, quarterback, the Panthers, after what we saw, ladies and gentlemen, they need to bring back Cam Newton. If there was any question prior to week 17, all answers have been answered. All questions have been answered. The Carolina Panthers have to bring back quarterback Cam Newton, and they better address the backup quarterback situation. Kyle Allen at times, he looked pretty good. At other times, he looked pretty bad. Will Grier, the same is the case. The rookie. Both quarterbacks are pretty young. It's okay to keep them on the roster, but it's necessary to have a veteran quarterback behind Cam Newton. That is a mandatory, not a question, but an answer. The Carolina Panthers need to have a veteran quarterback behind Cam Newton as a backup quarterback. You can keep Kyle Allen, you can keep Will Grier, you should develop them, but you need a veteran quarterback in case Cam Newton suffer any sort of injuries. That is requirement if you want to have a good season. Bright spot on the defense, I mentioned the running game was bad. I thought overall, Luke Kuechly, let me say it again, Luke Kuechly had a good season. His regular, great Luke Kuechly type of a season, but unfortunately, when the defense play bad, you don't notice his numbers so much. But he had a typical, pretty good Luke Kuechly season. Eric Reid, at times he was good, at other times not. I mean, he finished the season with over 100 tackles, but that, my friend, doesn't tell the whole story. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he had a bad season, but more or less he had an average season. Trey Boston, the free agent pickup, I thought he had an outstanding season. I really did, and I would like the Carolina Panthers, if possible, if money is not a problem, if they can afford it, to bring back Trey Boston. Because he had an outstanding season and a garbage defense. So Luke Kuechly, Trey Boston, Shaq Thompson, the three players who had a good season on the defense. Mario Addison had a pretty good season. Brian Burns, when he got snaps, he had a good season. Bruce Irvin, Gerald McCoy, they both had decent season. But overall, as a group, this defense wasn't good enough. Now, I'm sure some of you might state it, Shaked, where's James Bradbury? Did he not have a great season? The answer, in my opinion, he had an okay type of a season. I mean, at times, he did a good job against the wideout. The team's number one wideout shutting them down. But at other times, he gave up big chunk of yard. He's a free agent. To be, if I'm David Tepper, I don't offer James Bradbury a contract extension. I look at free agency, I look in the draft to upgrade the cornerback position. Dante Jackson, at times, had a good season, good plays, and at other times, not really. He has a lot of maturation to do in the off-season. He has a lot of improvement to do. Next off-season will be make or break for Dante Jackson with the Carolina Panthers. His third year in the NFL, I anticipate that he will take a big leap forward, but only time should tell. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Panthers finished 5-11, and it's not fun. I mean, you want to make the playoffs, you want to play for the Super Bowl, you want to win and raise the Lombardi Trophy. That is not a question. That is something that you want to do. Unfortunately, it's not the case. But you know what? This is going to be a fun, interesting season, off-season for the Carolina Panthers. Number one, they have to hire a head coach. Number two, are you going to keep Marty Only as your general manager, or will you hire a new general manager? Who will be your head coach? Is it going to be Baylor, Matt Rowe? Is it going to be Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley? Is it going to be Clemson Dabo Swinney? Is it going to be New England Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniel? Is it going to be Mike McCarthy? Is it going to be the Vikings offensive coordinator or the Chiefs offensive coordinator? Is it going to be maybe defensive coordinator for the 49ers, Greg Salah? Is it going to be the Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin? So as you can see, and maybe it will be the Ravens offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the Panthers have a lot of candidates that they can look after and hire. And I did not even include in that list Jason Garrett, who is probably going to be fired any moment from now, because you know Jerry Jones, if you don't make the playoff after a year, is going to be fired. So many candidates to be considered for the Carolina Panthers. So many great choices. And ladies and gentlemen, the draft is going to be here. The Panthers also have to make a decision. Where will they hold their training camp next season? Technically, their lease with Wofford College is run out. It's expired. However, they can extend it for one more year. And another year. Until their training camp in Rock Hill is officially ready to open. So they can go back to Wofford. They can host training camp in Charlotte in the bubble. If I had a choice, personal preference, I would keep it at Wofford for simple reason. Parking situation in uptown Charlotte is going to be really bad. Sure, you will have the bubble, that is great, climate control for the players, for the fans, but parking in uptown Charlotte with, let's say, 45 to 50,000 fans per day want to come, they wouldn't be able to come. You would probably only be able to accommodate maybe 10 to 12,000, maybe 15,000 fans. So that could be an issue. Parking, like I stated, could be a problem. So, yes, Panthers finish season 5-11. Yes, they basically hit the rock bottom, reset. But ladies and gentlemen, two things I will say. Number one, life moving so fast that before you know it, the Carolina Panthers will post a training camp video stating, oh, training camp is coming, Wofford is coming, bubble is coming, you name it, training camp is here. It's going to be here before you realize. The schedule will be released in mid-April. The draft, the Panthers have the 7th overall pick in Las Vegas. So, it's going to be a fun time, honestly. If you don't make the playoff, this is going to be a fun time. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, and that is something every person out there should understand and believe. And if you do, everything is going to be alright for the Carolina Panthers. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that when you hit the rock bottom, you're only going to go up. There is no way that you will go more down, you will go up. So yes, it wasn't our season, but keep your hope up. 2020 will be our year. Keep pounding and go Panthers!